You'd have to be an ostrich with your head buried not to have heard about the coronavirus. It seems as though the CDC is spreading fear and concern by every means possible. I want to share with you some facts that are perhaps something that will put your mind at ease at any part of it. Maybe it will give you some viable suggestions on how you can protect yourself against it. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne, traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people for better health. Natural remedies have been around for thousands of years because they work. Here with me today is my good friend and neighbor,
Good morning.
Kim.
Good morning.
And we're going to share some interesting things that I have been doing research on for almost a year. So we know that one of the ways we can deter germs from getting into our body is by washing our hands. And even the CDC says that it doesn't have to be hot water, it can be cold water. But the thing I want to show you is that a lot of times germs will get under the nails. And so when you're washing your hands, make sure you do this to get the soap under the nails, and then scrub again and then rinse. And then also the most effective thing to do is to use a paper towel or something, not a dryer of sorts. Wiping the skin is more effective than just drying it. So I like to use a non-scented soap with some essential oils in it. It isn't recommended to use antibacterial soap as they strip the body of its natural defenses. We have a pH on our skin, and that will deter microbes from entering the skin. But that can be stripped away when we use harsh chemicals. And these include using bleaches on bare hands. So these bleach wipes and that, please don't use them. Or if you do use them, make sure you use gloves. Don't handle them with bare hands. And don't use antibacterial kitchen soap or hand soap or anything like that, because these do actually strip your natural pH from your hands. Essential oils are naturally antimicrobial, and they don't strip the pH as harsh soaps do. Silver gel is always a good deterrent. It's something I use all the time. When I'm going out, I will use it every 4 hours because it's been shown to be effective up to 4 hours. And when I use it, I wipe it. You just need like a pea-size amount. You don't need a whole lot. And so it goes a long way. You wring it on your hands and then around your mouth and in your nostrils, because that's the places where germs will enter. Some people will, on a nightly basis, use the liquid in their eyes, and because wherever you have mucus, that's where these germs will attach themselves. And but if you're the average Joe, you don't have to worry about the eyes as much as keeping it on hand in your briefcase, in your purse, making sure that the children are using it on a daily basis, especially when they go off to school. I have soaked paper towels with a little bit of the liquid. So in other words, you take about 5 paper towels, put it in a Ziploc bag, and sprinkle some of the silver liquid in it, and then close it up, put it together, and there's a week's supply of wipes that you can put in children's lunch boxes. So the type of silver I use has a patent that claims it kills off things like SARS and MRSA. I usually add some to lotions and salves and anything that I mix together to deter microbes from spoiling them. So maybe you want to know how effective silver essential oils are when faced with the coronavirus. Well, even though the CDC wants you to be frightened by this virus, it is still a virus. And the patent shows that it is extremely effective against viruses. So when somebody says that this is the worst virus ever, all that means is that you have to be more vigilant in protecting yourself. So here's this. I love this article. I posted it on Facebook, but you can read it in its entirety if you go to Mercola.com and just put in the search bar coronavirus. Season of fear and national budgeting go hand in hand. Whatever the source, the hysteria being drummed up follows a now well-worn pattern where the population is kept in perpetual state of anxiety and fear about microbes so that drug companies, aided by federal health officials, can come to the rescue with yet another expensive and potentially mandatory drug or vaccine. Back in 2005, headlines warned the U.S. Was facing a cataclysmic extermination event. Can you get any more scary about it? With a calculated 2 million Americans succumbing to the bird flu. The best case scenario had calculated death tolls of 200,000. The same scare tactics were used during the 2009 swine flu outbreak. Both pandemics turned out to be grossly exaggerated threats, but that didn't result in a more conservative, cool-headed approach to subsequent outbreaks. If anything, efforts to drum up fear and hysteria have only escalated. In 2014, we were told Ebola, this skin-eating flesh thing, may take over the U.S., and then it was pertussis outbreaks. In January 2015, it was measles in Disneyland. In January 2016, it was Zika, followed by more news about pertussis outbreaks in 2017 and 2018. It was influenza again. Then back to measles again in 2019. Now we have coronavirus. January and February appear to be favorite time to launch a global disease scare with the dutiful assistance of corporatized media. It's convenient, seeing how usually the first Monday in February every year, and this year it was February 3rd, the President sends the U.S. Congress this administration's budget requesting funds to be allocated to federal agencies for the next fiscal year, which is October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021. Each time there's a public health scare, the pharma and public health lobby is able to vie for a larger slice of taxpayer money to pay for the drug and vaccine equipment. You can choose to listen to the fearmongers, or you can choose to act on prevention. Some of the functional medicine doctors, hey Kirk, some of the functional medical doctors have suggested good lifestyle practices, like getting plenty of good sleep, eating healthy meals, drinking purified water, exercise, and keeping a positive outlook. Well, that last one can be tricky, because if you listen to the media, the news, if it's your thing to listen to the 11 o'clock news before you go to bed at night, guess what's circulating in your head? Fear and hysteria the whole night long. So if you don't have to watch the news, it is best just to ignore it. The only thing you can do anything about is what is in your circle of influence. And for most of us, that doesn't include China. So what else can you be doing along with these good lifestyle practices? Well, how about MyImmune? MyImmune Defense is a wonderful mushroom combination that supports either upregulating or downregulating the immune system. So in other words, it lets your body decide. And if you have an autoimmune condition, this is really important, because people with autoimmune should not take echinacea because it escalates the condition. So the supplements I talk about in these classes can all be found on my website. You can read all about them on bornforhealth.com and just look under Urban Encyclopedia, because there's a wonderful selection of things that you can choose to support your immune system better. So the topic of my herbal egram this week, the god of fungi, which is reishi mushroom. This information can be found under Herbal egram. It's an electronic newsletter. I send it out to about 600 subscribers. It's absolutely free, and each person's email is kept private. However, my internet technician is working on my computer, and Outlook is not playing well with my other programs, so I could not send the egram out this Monday, but it is posted on my website, so if you want to read it in its entirety, look under the subtitle Newsletters and you will find it. If you're enjoying these, please subscribe, click on hearts. I appreciate all of that. If you need specific information, please email me, drmary@bornforhealth.com, and I will send you some resources. So perhaps now would be a good time to discuss two theories. Okay, so this one is Pasteur. Louis Pasteur is the one who created pasteurization. Kill all the germs. This one is Beauchamp. Now, Beauchamp's cellular theory is almost completely opposite to Pasteur. You know what it reminds me of is the difference between Edison and Tesla. Totally different, and who got to win the public over but the person with the loudest voice. Beauchamp was a kind and meek, and he was shy, and so people listened to the orator, the big mouth, which happened to be Louis Pasteur. So Beauchamp noted that these germs that Pasteur was so terrified of were opportunistic in nature. They were everywhere and even existed inside of us in a symbiotic relationship. So in other words, they were there for a reason. Beauchamp noticed in his research that it was only when the tissue of the host became damaged or compromised that these germs began to manifest as a prevailing symptom, not a cause of disease. To prevent illness, Beauchamp advocated not the killing of germs, but the cultivation of health through diet, hygiene, healthy lifestyle practices such as fresh air and exercise. The idea is that if the person has a strong immune system and good tissue quality, or terrain as Beauchamp called it, the germs will not manifest in the person and they will have good health. It is only when their health starts to decline due to personal neglect and poor lifestyle choices that they become a victim to infections. So here's the thing you might look at. It's like you buy 2 garbage cans, and for a month you only put the garbage in 1 can. Where do you think the flies are going to be attracted to? Exactly, not the clean one. Now let's fast forward to the 21st century, the one we live in, and the advancement of science called microbiome. We now have a microscope that can support Beauchamp's theory that indeed we have more microbe cells than human cells. In fact, we have 10 times more microbes living in us rather than human cells. You may have heard of probiotics. Well, these are microbes that help us digest and utilize B vitamins as one of their myriad tasks. These microbes live symbiotically in the body to support our immune system and maintain health. Most of them live in the gut, but some live in the mucous membranes, which includes the nasal passages, the mouth, the respiratory, and the skin. What we might consider bad microbes exist in our body as well. They are there to code the immune system beware. Beware of these. If you see these coming in, attack them. They're there for a purpose. So if we kill all the microbes like antibiotics do, guess what? The immune system isn't getting coated. If this is interesting to you and you would like more information about it, Google Pasteur versus Beauchamp. We are all different. We may have some similarities, but not one of us is exactly like the other. Even identical twins will have, one will be left-handed and the other one will be right-handed. So improving our own immune system makes tons more sense than trying to use a generic one-size-fits-all vaccine treatment or whatever else the drug companies want to put on us mandatorily. Silver Shield nanotechnology is proven effective against SARS, as I mentioned above. The researchers from the Wuhan Institute of Virology published a paper on January 23, 2020. That paper informs that the NCOV-2019, which is what they call the coronavirus, has a 96% match with a bat coronavirus. Now, were there any bats in that fish market? No. So it really doesn't make sense, and there is lots of information out there about the leak from the laboratory, and you realize that these laboratories are regulated under a silence thing, where you cannot go in there. There's no such thing as transparency of information in these labs, even in the U.S. So they also stated that the NCOV 2019 utilizes the same cell entry receptor as the SARS-CoV of 2002 to 2004. So the receptor is the ACE2. Well, it uses the same receptor. Silver can effectively open up that gene and say, hey, immune system, look at here, come get it. So if one contracts the virus, there are studies that show taking algae will actually penetrate the coating of the virus. So if you already have the virus and you take algae, it's going to open it up and allow the immune system to identify it. So that information is also on my website if you're interested in looking at super algae. Another herb is licorice root. Licorice root is marvelous for coughs and colds and soothing irritated mucous membranes. So that's another thing that you can do. So one of the concerns of the virus is the respiratory system and how it gets inflamed, and the individual has difficulty breathing. So anti-inflammatories, of which there are a ton in the herbal, curcumin, and just almost all of them are anti-inflammatory. But one of the things I want to talk about, and this is so easily to tuck away in a pocket or whatever, is Thai Fu essential oil. Now this is a wonderful way. You just tap a little bit on there, rub your hands together like this. You create warmth, and then breathe deeply. And all of those essential oils will go in, and they will support the immune system and affect the dry cough. They will allow the mucus to soothe it just simply by breathing it. And your hands are protected against bacteria and viruses. So it's a wonderful thing. I think everybody should have one of these in their medicine chest, in their purse. I carry it in my purse all the time, and it goes through the airport and nobody even questions me. But this, let me read the numerous applications that this particular essential oil combination can help with. Arthritis pain, bites and stings, burns and scalds, carpal tunnel, colds, coughs, cuts, scratches, headache, itching, muscular pain, motion sickness, poison ivy and poison oak, poor circulation, sinus congestion, sprains, stiff neck, stuffy nose, toothache, and vomiting. Oh, I think it just about covers everything. So we love it. It also comes in a lotion form. So if you're on an airplane and you're concerned about circulation, you can put some of that lotion on your legs and help with circulation and getting the blood flow. So yesterday, dress appropriately. Yesterday we had 50-degree weather here in Michigan, and people were out in shorts and t-shirts. Now, 50-degree weather doesn't warrant that kind of dress. It's ridiculous. When you challenge the immune system to help keep you warm, and then you hit it with a stress of some sort, and you have a poor diet, hey, you're asking to get sick. This is not the same as doing cleansing baths where people go into a sauna and then they leap into snow and then they go back into the sauna. That actually helps to strengthen the immune system through these different myriad of challenges. Of course, if you're in a weak state, you don't do that kind of thing. So if you'd like to know more about these theories, studies, or products, feel free to email me your questions. Dr. Mary at bornforhealth.com. Most of my material comes from greenmedinfo.com, the CDC itself, the Journal of Clinical Immunology, Mercola.com, and many other credible sources. So how are you going to move forward with this information? Are you going to follow along with the fearmongers? Are you going to take steps toward prevention and control over your immune system's ability to protect you? The new biology tells us that our body has all the tools it needs to keep us healthy and regenerate. The microbe is nothing, the terrain is everything. This is what was reported from Louis Pasteur's lips on his deathbed. In other words, if the terrain were out of balance, then germs would thrive. In short, germs do not cause disease. It is your willingness to accept it. The host allows for disease to occur through stress, poor diet, lack of sleep, and toxic overload. Examine your life and figure out what steps you can take to be healthier. If you smoke, quit. I am so proud of Kim because she quit. Now, how long has it been?
It was 2010.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
2010.
10 years.
Yep.
If you drink alcohol on a regular basis, stop, or at least lessen the load. If you eat a diet that is nothing but empty calories, consider upgrading. Start eating an organic apple every day. That alone will help support your immune system and help clean out the gunk. Life can be a beautiful thing if you let it be. If you need some resources, please email me, and I will do my best to steer you in the direction that will help you be healthier. Here are some action steps. I always like to end with this. Replace one item from your daily diet with a vegetable or fresh fruit. Diffuse some pleasant essential oils instead of using chemical sprays or room deodorizers. Share what you've learned. Recommend these videos to your friends so that other people can find solutions that don't harm them or the environment. Have a viewing party. You can click on those on Facebook and share with your friends. Keep focusing on gratitude. Be thankful for people and gifts of nature, the flowers, and all the joy around you. Thank you for viewing. Until next time, this is Dr. Mary for the Health of It. Finish.